All right, this is Mike's with Mike's podcast. The Bears, week 11 now.
Week 11,
Is it over with yet?
getting there. I mean, it's over with for the Bears pretty much, but they have to still go play games, I think.
The good thing is we won't get our playoff invoices, I don't think.
That's good.
Yeah.
That is good. 'Cause I don't think they're gonna slip into the playoffs this year.
No, I'm going to say no.
No, unless there was a playoff for who was the worst team.
Yeah. They'd probably lose that too,
Yeah.
just to keep consistent.
Yeah, they'd win a game that they have to lose.
I'll pour some beer.
Yeah.
Got a 2015 Bourbon County Regal Rye Stout. Like everything else for them that year was fucking sour. So let's find out.
Sour.
I don't know if it's cold enough, but.
It looks thick.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. We need a little alcohol in us to talk about the Bears. So we got the Lions this week, the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Is it warm?
No, it's right. It's just right temperature
It's right?
wise.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's a little. It's got some depth.
Let's see how much
to
we
it.
care about the Bears. Fuck the fucking Bears. They suck. Anyway, we got the Lions coming up. Stafford, a pretty good season.
Bears will lose.
Bears will lose. That's end of podcast. Bears lose.
This is a game that I think, this is one of those games where we all picked the Steelers, and then they ended up winning. I don't know how they beat Steelers. I don't know how they beat
Well,
Panthers.
that whole
Yeah.
Steelers thing was like you said. The Steelers came in they played like the worst team in the NFL that day. I mean, they couldn't get out of their own way. I mean, that was the only thing. The Bears didn't win that game. The Steelers made sure
They made
they
some
lost
plays.
that.
Come on, we made some plays.
But the Steelers made sure they lost that game. I mean, they really did. I mean, compared to what they look like now.
But yeah, I think
You know.
Billy's right. I think
It's one of
it's
those ones
the
where
fucking Lions,
we
man.
have
You
them
can't
written
trust
off,
the
and
Lions for
I
a
could
win.
see them winning.
Yeah,
They
me
stink.
too.
I think Stafford's overrated.
Yeah, Stafford's definitely overrated. He ain't worth what he's getting paid.
Anytime you become the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, you're automatically overrated.
Yeah.
Definitely overpaid.
Yeah.
He's never
Yeah,
won anything.
No. That's why I couldn't understand why they paid him as much as they did.
And they haven't won a playoff game, have they?
No.
That was Stafford.
No.
Or maybe ever. I
You've
don't
only
know.
went to one, wasn't it?
Two.
Oh,
I've been
two?
to
Was it
two.
two? Okay.
And he's lost them both.
Yeah. But they have more problems than just a quarterback over there. And
Yeah, they're running. They don't run the ball real well.
No, they haven't ran the ball well since been Barry Sanders.
they don't
Jesus.
coach well over there.
Hey,
Yeah.
coach better than us.
Well, yeah.
Jesus.
yeah. The pot shouldn't be calling the kettle black right now.
Yeah, I actually think it's a very winnable game, though. I mean, it's now that everybody, what are we, 3-6?
Yeah.
We're pretty much like almost eliminated. I mean, now's when we'll knock off a couple wins. I just think that the Lions, you can't trust the Lions. Any
No.
Lions fan will tell you that.
No, yeah, but you can't trust the Bears either.
No. Yeah.
I mean, it's like two teams where it's like you might as well just flip a coin at the end of the day and see what's going to happen, and your chances are probably just as good.
We'll see.
Obviously, the Lions are better, but I just think this is a game that they've been written off, and they're going to surprise when they win these games. They shouldn't.
Yeah, that is true.
I can't figure it out. They should have beat the Packers.
Yep.
Having a bye week, Packers a short week.
Packers not being good,
Yeah,
No.
and somehow we made them look good.
I want to ask you guys both this. I was thinking about this all week. What did you think of the way Trubisky played?
I'm not ready to write him off by any stretch of the means. So, like, I'm thinking he had some really good throws. He had some really shitty throws in that game, though, too. Had a couple where he just
I thought
completely
he played well.
blew. But, I mean, he's...
You think so?
Played well enough to win.
What?
He's not very. He needs to work on his accuracy
Yeah.
a little bit. His fundamentals, something about his footwork or something. I don't know.
So this is what I have a lot of time to think. So I was
Yeah.
driving around
And
thinking.
let me preface that with he's playing well for what, his fifth start or whatever, fifth start,
So what if
and he only had 10 starts. In
what if
college.
Cutler had that same game?
Oh,
297 yards, 1 touchdown, no turnovers.
not good enough. Not good enough. He has the he should have came out there and won the game.
That's my whole thing. Thinking that is the game that Bears fans wanted Cutler to play for 8 or 9 years.
Yeah.
And it's still not good enough to win. Like my whole I defended Cutler, but I still think that he didn't have anything around him, and neither does Trubisky.
No.
That's the game that Bears fans wanted. 300-yard passing, no turnovers, 1 touchdown. He take a sack, throw the ball away. Well, that's what Trubisky did. This team's just not good enough to at the other positions to win.
No.
It doesn't matter who's at quarterback.
No.
And then our coaching suspect to boot.
Dontrell Inman, though, I mean, he's I mean, besides that last key drop, I think that was his only drop. He had the most targets. He's the only one that actually looked like a fucking wide receiver out there.
I like the fact, like the thing I liked about Cutler was he took chances. I like to gamble a little bit, so I'm good with him gambling. He threw a lot of picks that way.
Yeah.
Like that's what Trubisky.
Yeah, but so did Brett Favre back. I mean, look at Brett
Yeah.
Favre. Brett
But
Favre was
But he
a
had better people around him.
Well, that's true. But I mean, if you look at any good quarterback, like the best quarterbacks out there, like they always took that chance. You know,
Yes.
some of them had better weapons around them to throw to and stuff like that. But any good quarterback is still at certain times going to take that chance.
And I did another thing. I was really disliked Josh Bellamy, but there's a reason he plays. And I was watching a little bit. Steve of the game was watching again. He gets open.
Oh, yeah.
He's the only one that gets open.
He runs great routes.
But
he's
he can't-
fast as fuck.
he can't catch.
Yeah.
So that's bad.
Yeah.
Receivers that can't catch are bad.
But Edmund was consistently getting open. The guy's lanky. I mean, he can get up there and get it. Except that last one.
So what's the purpose of having a receiver that can't catch?
He's the only one that gets open. Hopefully he can catch.
I mean, but I'm just saying is, if you're a wide receiver, I would expect you, if you're going to hire somebody who's a wide receiver.
I think
you
that they're
catch the ball?
so down on the depth chart.
No, I know. I'm
they're,
just being a smart ass, but
right.
I'm just like, you
No.
know.
He must be really bad at cornerback, is what I'm guessing, because he hasn't been able to catch his whole career.
Right.
Or you know what? When he does make a catch, it's a fucking spectacular catch.
I mean-
He'll just bounce off his numbers all day.
You know, or is he that guy who, when he does catch it, you know, he can, you know, move and get away from the defender and you know, break it open. But I mean, you know, but you got to catch the ball to see it. So
Yeah, there's a reason he plays, and it's
Yeah,
That-
you're absolutely right on that. I think I've heard that in the past that he runs really good routes, and he's obviously fast, dude. I mean, but he's a special teamer if I ever saw one, man. Dude's a gunner, not a wide receiver, but he's a wide receiver when you have injuries. Are they gonna bank? Are they gonna bank on Kevin White to actually play next year, or
yeah, we get another first-round draft pick back next year.
Yeah.
It's third year in a row we have 2 first-round draft picks.
And I will say, you know what they need to do in first round? Pick up wide receiver and wide receiver.
I don't know. Just see what's available.
Yeah, definitely offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I think defensively, like last week though,
I mean, look at the
I
time
don't
of
know.
possession. Were they just on the field the whole time, or
well, Green Bay had time of possession for what,
we didn't tackle very well?
35 minutes, and Bears 25 or 26, 34, something like that. So it was, you know, I mean, Green Bay did control the clock that game.
The first half, that the Bears should have been winning the first half. They were Green Bay was handed a touchdown on a horrible pass interference call, and then a holding call on the run for the touchdown, and then John Fox challenging the.
That challenge, though.
They should have been winning 17-13, but it is what it is.
But
Yeah.
so that challenge, that like,
Got to be someone upstairs that can tell him not to challenge that.
yeah, I mean, who?
Or was his foot out? I don't know. I mean, was his foot or
His foot was out while he still had contact with the ball. It should have been out, but out of bounds at like the 2 or 3. But it's another thing again that we talked about a few weeks ago. It just annoys the piss out of me is they give the referee that little iPhone and tell him to figure out.
Microsoft service?
Oh, sorry.
Come on now.
Product
They might
placement.
be a sponsor later.
Product placement. Product placement for Microsoft Surface. That guy can't see anything.
No.
It's a paid official in New York that makes the final decision,
yeah.
Turn the fuck around, man.
which is
Leave it
really wrong.
Yeah, it's fucked up. Were you saying that it should be like a third-party company or something like
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
It should be.
It's not a bad idea. But
Somebody not paid by the NFL.
I mean, they'd have to be paid by the NFL at some point. And I guess the Players Association could pay them, but how shady would that be just as well?
Hey, at least one thing, John Fox kept his record of
City will pay for
when
him.
he had when the spread was in his favor, he managed to lose the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Consistent.
0-6.
I heard a lot of fans bitching about that on the way out. Like, wow, they must have been listening to the Mike's Bears preview.
Oh man, yeah. It's just, I don't know. It was like kind of funny going into the Green Bay game. I was kind of like starting to slowly change my opinion on, maybe the Bears can start working with something. And, I'm not expecting them to get great or anything like that. But then after this last week, I was just like, why do I get my hopes up about, my hopes up, like about an inch. I'm not talking, I went, real high, but
That's
I'm
what
like,
they do.
I even put a little bit of an inch in, and it was just like, God, like I said, Trubisky, he looked, like I said, he had, like you said, with the accuracy issues, stuff like that. He had a couple of
I think
passes
he's worked
that.
on it.
I do-
Overall, I thought he had a pretty good game.
I do
What did you
too.
think, Billy?
I thought he played well, but
Yeah.
like I said, that's the same game we've been asking for years, and
Yeah.
out of Cutler, and the team's just not good enough around him.
Yeah, and when Cutler did have weapons and when the offense was good, our defense was historically horrible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
When you had Marshall and Jeffrey and, Forte, jeez.
Jeffrey's a punk. They were both punks. Like,
But look how good Jeffrey was opposite Marshall, though.
Jeffrey was good for half a season last year, and then he wanted to get paid, so he didn't want to get hurt. So I don't know. So he stayed
He
one
found the
year.
right team, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Where's he at
Son of
now?
a bitch. Gonna come back and kick our ass.
The Eagles.
Oh, the Eagles. Oh, yeah. Oh,
Unless we go there and get our asses kicked.
We'll
That's the kind of game that we'll play them to within 3 points. Somehow lose on some bullshit. No, Eagles will probably just kill us.
Yeah.
they'll kill us. They got such an potent offense right now.
Oh well. Fuck the Eagles.
Yeah, I hate the
Hear
Eagles.
that, Phil Smith?
Yeah. Fuck you, Phil. And the Eagles.
I've never been able to stand them. They're some of the whiniest fans. Bears are some of the most depressing fans, but the Eagles are some of the whiniest fans. And
Oh, it seems like a bad place to go visit too.
a Veterans Stadium. Oh, it's not Veterans anymore. Didn't they move to a new stadium?
Yeah.
Yeah, but still,
They're not welcoming. I
if
don't
you
think.
want to get mugged or beat up or something like that, you go there.
Some corporate name stadium.
Is this some little brother thing with New York or something because of the proximity?
No, I think it's just
Except
Philadelphia's a
Philadelphia.
miserable fucking city.
Hey, I don't like any of their teams. I don't really.
It's
know
ki- it's
anyone
kinda
there
like a
except
Saint- it's like
couple
the
people
Saint
who
Lu-
won't listen to this.
It's like the St. Louis to the East.
St.
you
Louis
know.
to the east. I
St.
had a lovely time in St. Louis when I was there. so I
St.
don't know what
Louis,
you're
but
talking
like
about.
St. Louis sports fans are some of the most.
There might have been a
miserable.
Black Lives Matter protest right outside the diner I was eating at, but I still had a great time.
Well, I'm not saying you can't go to Philadelphia and have a great time, but what I'm saying is I think it's just, it's just kind of like a redheaded stepchild of that area,
Yeah.
You got St.
Not
Louis,
Milwaukee, not
like you
Boston.
look at the middle, the Midwest, and you got Chicago, and you got Indy, and you got Nashville, and you got
That's the South,
all
son.
these other cities. Well, Nashville's pretty much Midwest. You're right on that border, but Minneapolis, even Milwaukee. I like
Wormhole
Milwaukee.
have we gone down?
But you go out east. Nobody ever talks about Philadelphia. They talk about Boston. They talk about New York. They talk about all these other cities, and then there's Philadelphia out here, which has got a population of about 1 million or something like that, and nobody says shit about it ever
Philadelphia, man.
because it sucks.
Not the Bears.
They got the Liberty Bell.
Yeah.
Ah, jeez. So, you think we're going to win?
I don't.
Me and Billy think we're going to win. We've seen too many Bears-Lions games to not think we're going to win.
Well,
You got the loss on you, though.
I'm
huh?
just really down on the Bears right now. I don't trust the Lions to do anything good. They're like one of those teams that's been a joke for the last 50 years. Where it's if
They
you
made the playoffs last year. Watch out.
well, they've made the playoffs before, but did they ever do anything with it?
Yeah, they went and played, and they lost.
Well,
Did something with it. They just didn't do the right thing with it.
the only time the Lions ever did anything was when didn't they knock the Bears out of the playoffs back in 2002, 2003? Like the Bears had to win that last game, and the Lions were 2-13 or some shit like that, and they ended up beating the Bears and knocked
I
the
don't know.
Bears' chances.
The only
to
time
get
I
to the
remember that
playoffs.
happening, for sure, or we let the Packers in, and then they came and beat us in the championship. The Chris Conte play, and the no one run into the loose ball, and all that fun stuff. Who got on the injury list? Is Trevathan going to play?
I don't know.
I was just listening on the way here. That's still questionable.
Questionable's better than doubtful.
Or I don't know if it was questionable, doubtful, but it was just nobody knows anything.
Kyle Long will play though.
He's not even on the injury report.
Yeah,
He's not on the injury report. Cool.
So I don't know, but he's beat up. If I was him, I'd sit out. He needs surgeries.
Yeah.
What the hell is the purpose of him getting hurt?
Well, he just don't
But
have
it-
that. I don't know. He just wants to play.
I just wonder with him though if he's just not going to be one of those guys who's always going to be on and off the injury report over the years.
Will be. I think you just have to have depth at the line. I think we've had decent line play. Decent. But as far as injuries go, we've been a little banged up and things. So, yeah, I think every seems like every offensive lineman, or they just never miss a game, or they're a little off and on.
I did hear this week that Grisou, Pro Football Focus, does a rating from 0 to 100, and Grisou was a 0 this week.
0.
That's,
Wonderful.
He's like the second time it's ever happened in the history of Pro Football Focus.
He was about a 2 all of last season. So
But he's snapping a ball with a broken hand, so that doesn't.
that
Nice.
can help. Yeah, the snaps have
Yeah.
been pretty fucking bad, but Mitch has done pretty well with them.
Yeah.
He's probably used to getting those snaps in practice. So
It's like another obstacle Mitch has to deal with. I mean, you got no receivers, you got a snapper with a fucking broken hand. I mean, you gotta love. It's almost like a comedy skit with the Bears in a lot of ways. Like if you look at it from a comedy point of view, you're like, oh, this is kind of funny. Like just how goofy and
it's hard to be when
wound
we're
up
as
some of
vested
this
as me
stuff.
and Billy, though.
I don't understand how they have more injuries than the average team. That's what I can't figure out. It's got to be training staff. I don't know. This whole staff's got to go.
I
Yeah,
would
I
agree.
think
The
so.
whole staff's got to go.
I'd entertain keeping Fangio because the defense has improved so much. But
But nobody's gonna. You're not gonna hire a head coach and say you have to keep this coach.
right. And that's the kind of thing that's going to get you a shitty hire. If you do
Right.
that.
I mean, Ryan Pace and the McCaskies need to go, okay, if we want to win and we want to do something, if we hire a new coach, he has to be able to put in the staff, his assistant staff that he wants.
Well, of course.
If you sit here and say, because we got into that problem, what was it, back in, was it at the beginning of the Lovey era?
No, I think they hired
They-
Tressman. Tressman. They wanted to
Tressman?
keep somebody. Babbage, maybe.
I think he wanted to keep that horrible fucking defensive
yeah.
coordinator, didn't he? What the fuck was his name?
Well, no, but I think it happened in the beginning of the Lovey era when for the first year, it was like the first year Lovey was there, if I'm not mistaken. We had a holdover of defensive coordinator from the, what's his name?
Wasn't Dick Duran?
Dick Duran.
It's not like they kept Shoop or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
sucked.
oh, God, the Shoop era.
The fucking wide receiver screen master.
Oh, man, that brings back some memories. I remember just sitting there God.
Bring back some good memories for me, man. That was a fun season, that 01
It was,
season.
at least the Bears back then, even with the Dick Duran era, like we bitched, moaned, whined, and cried, but they had a 13-3 season. They had an 11-5 season. They had, a couple times where
He wasn't Tressman bad, that's for sure. He wasn't Coach of the Year Canada material.
I think after they got rid of Lovey, there's just been this disarray, and they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do.
I
They're
actually
like
think Fox's record is worse than Tressman's. I think I saw
Actually,
that.
it is.
I think I saw that the other
Actually,
day.
it is. Fox, they were saying, they were talking about it on 670 the other day, and they were thinking, well, if you think, Tressman's record was bad, because I think Tressman won, 7 games the one season. I think his first season there, they were 7-9.
Yeah, with Lovey's players.
I mean, and yeah, Tressman was terrible and stuff like that, and I don't know if it's a complete reflection
what was
because of
so bad about Tressman is the defense got so fucking
yeah.
bad.
Oh yeah,
We hadn't seen that before,
Because didn't we-
defense was always viable at least.
because the one year with Tressman, we were throwing up like a whole bunch of points. I mean, it was opened up, and we were throwing up a shit ton of points. But
Oh yeah,
I just
we were toward the top points scored in the league there
I
for
think
a
we were.
while. That
I think
season.
it was like the one season with Tressman was the Bears.
But we couldn't hold. We had 2 games. Was it even? It wasn't back to back, but same season, leading up over 50.
It was back
Yeah.
to back. I
It was
think.
back to
back to
back.
back.
I mean, that
Patriots
is
and-
fuck. How does the defense coordinator
Patriots
get
and
fired?
Packers, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, Patriots one thing.
But I think Tressman actually holds the record, and I'd have to double check on this, for the most points scored on average, for a season with the Bears. Like I think that one season they
that could
actually
very well be a thing. When they had.
I mean, it's
Marshall-
really weird
Yeah.
like that, but we were averaging like 28 something or whatever it was, which is unheard of for the Bears, because the Bears, I think, historically only average like 19 points a game or something like that.
The goals have always kind of been with the defense to hold them under 17 if we
Well,
want to get if we have a
right.
legitimate chance of winning.
The Bears, as an organization, have always been a very defensively, focused organization. But I just thought it was funny. One of the coaches that we like to lamb blast the most, also I think, like I said, and I have to double check on this, holds the record for most points scored a game.
That's
I
the
can't
only
remember.
thing that he was. They had a lot of success on offense, but what really killed his reign with the Bears, other than losing a shitload of games and losing control of his locker room, was that the defense got so bad.
Well, and then
And we cannot have that in Chicago.
and do you remember the quarterback shuffle that
Can't
went
have
on
that.
with what was that? Wow, what started with a Q? Quinn?
McNown?
No. He was a quarterback. He had to have this guy. He had to have this guy. He had to have this guy. He was a total fucking.
He was the
Jason
Notre Dame
Campbell?
guy.
Oh, Quinn.
Quinn, yeah, and he was
No,
a.
it wasn't Brady Quinn.
It was the other guy. It was the
the other
fucking
clown.
It was not the nice looking one. It was the fucking weird looking one.
Yeah, there was this one, and he
Looks
had
like
to
he
have-
belonged with a crew cut. Maybe had red
Yeah,
hair at one point in his life.
He had to have this guy. Had to have this guy. And the guy was
don't
just
know.
fucking terrible. He was just terrible.
Played for the Panthers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jimmy.
Jimmy Clausen.
Jimmy.
Yeah.
I'm
Jimmy
thinking-
Clausen was the shit, dude. Guy was awesome.
I mean, the Bears just did so much. They just do so many weird things, and
I'm gonna
like I
look at the
said-
stats on that on the Trustman season.
I
Just
just
to see
wanna-
that one offensive season, just because I think it was all defense. Like, we'd score 35 fucking points, get beat by fucking 2 touchdowns because our defense sucked, and their special teams is god awful. That was another killer, Billy. You're one of the rare people who mentioned that how much that matters and how much it's been. How bad was special teams last week,
We had
dude?
Connor Barth. He scored all our points. What do you mean?
Connor, I mean, I'm talking about the return.
I
game,
was right
Billy.
about
You
the
know what
point
I'm talking
scoring.
about. Talking
He
about
didn't miss a field goal. I couldn't believe it.
we gave them a lot of good field position. I
Well,
think.
but then
I was
then
pretty
again-
drunk. I don't know. We gave them pretty good field position. I'm
But then
pretty
again, we actually, when we did drive, we went pretty deep. We just always stalled.
Kicked field goal.
You know, yeah. I mean, we kicked field goals. So we put Connor Barth where it was kind of like, if you miss this,
sure. From your perspective in the end zone, Billy, did it look like it wasn't going to make it? Like all Connor Barth's field goals looked
Oh,
like
yeah.
they weren't going to make it.
Yeah. They were barely clearing the crossbar.
And to his defense, hey, he made the field goals and there was some pretty shitty weather. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Connor Barth, Bears Player of the Week.
MVB.
Sweet.
MVP.
All right,
most
so I think we're going to go ahead and beat the
Bear.
Lions. I think we're
Bear.
going to win 21-17.
I said
Mang.
21-20.
21-20?
I don't know how. I have no idea.
I think we'll get the good call by the refs. We won't get fucked by the refs because it's the Lions, and the refs like fucking the Lions, let's face it. So maybe they'll give us a call. Fuck the other team.
I'm gonna say 8-14. Bears lose. We'll get a safety and two
High
field.
scoring baseball game? Or
We'll get two field goals and a safety,
I like it.
and the Lions will score 2 touchdowns.
I think the Lions are averaging like 24 points a game, 25, something like that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm just being
Bears
kind of-
defense yet? Oh shit.
they score. So they picked on Kyle Fuller a lot last week, so I think
Yes. And you know what?
gonna be-
He's usually the one good thing about Kyle Fuller is he's a sure tackler, but man, he couldn't tackle a fucking anything last week, man. He was terrible. We'll see.
The defense took a step backwards last week, I think. I mean, now do they regroup and come back out and learn from their mistakes? I mean, that's
Maybe it just shows you how much you miss a guy like Danny Trevathan.
they were without their best player. That doesn't help.
yeah.
No, Keem Hicks was there. Their second, but you mean their best linebacker? Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Trevathan and Hicks it's a toss up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
both disruptive and all over the place, and I fucking like them a lot both. I wish them nothing but
Yep.
Bears for the next rest of your career and very, very healthy. About the rest of those fuckers, though. You gotta get to your open house, Billy?
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
No.
What else can we talk about Bears wise? Can we let's have a caller? Let's have a caller call in and talk Mike Rogers into coming out to tape a remote podcast at a brewery on his way home. You gonna call yourself on speakerphone?
No, I just got buzzed, but it was just the daughter, so
Cool. Well,
she doesn't want to talk Bears. So
still gonna say 6 wins.
I'm still sticking with it. I don't know how they're going to get it. They got San Francisco and Cleveland still, so that should be 2.
I want to say
Should be 2.
I want to say that we can win, like because Cleveland and the 49ers are both just.
We'll lose one of them.
We sit here and well, see, this is the problem. We sit here and shit on the Bears, but like Cleveland and San Francisco are just downright. They're both competing for who can be the absolute worst team. But I think the Bears are going to lose to one of them. I think they're going to be like that one team where, like, the Browns or 49ers get one of their 1 or 2 wins off of the Bears.
If they lose to one of them, I hope it's San Francisco and Robbie Gould kicks a field goal.
Game
That would be
winning field goal.
nice. That would
Time
be nice.
expires.
Yeah.
I think you'd hear more cheers than boos.
Yeah, you probably.
I
would.
honestly think you would. And then you'd hear it by a rain of fucking boos, dude.
To
Makes me upset I'm not going to be at that game. Are you guys going to get together and do a Bears preview? You guys can get together in the garage.
yeah,
I can call in from the Dominican.
Yeah, I see just the Bears just being. I don't know. I think they're going to lose one of those games for some dumb reason.
Well, let's do something fun about the Bears season. Let's do this. Let's do this, guys. Saturday. Let's commit to this. I know it's around the holidays and shit. December 23rd, because the Browns game's the 24th, right?
Yeah, it's Christmas Eve. Yeah.
Let's do a fun podcast where everybody drinks a little bit. And, we eat some food and let's do something fun.
I
Because
think that
the
would be
Bears aren't
cool.
going to provide any fun.
No.
I like to drink and eat.
Yeah, drink
So
and eat.
do I.
We'll have 2 tailgates, Billy.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I think it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get lit
Little
up. Anybody want to
Christmas
stop by
special.
for that? Anybody who actually listens to this want to stop by? Alec Toombs, if you want to come up, dude, we'll talk gun control, man. He thinks that we need we need another side of this debate, which we probably do to keep everything completely objective, I guess. Maybe Dustin Byers wants to come out. Who knows? That guy don't have a phone. He probably has to. Or I shouldn't say that. I should. He probably has to blow into his phone for it to fucking work. Love you, Dustin. Maybe Pete Bodnay. He was supposed to come. Yeah. No one
Yeah.
wants Pete Bodnay here. No, I'm just kidding. Any other Bears-related shit, guys?
No,
Random stuff? No?
not that I-
I'm knocking down my prediction. I think they'll. Man, I almost
You
want
can't go below 3 because they have 3.
I know, but I almost want to say my 3-13 is going to stick. I like. There's just this I got this weird instinct that it's going to stick. But if I say that, they're going to win a game or maybe 2. So I'm going to knock it down 1 to 5-11.
I bet you have more than a weird instinct.
I got this feeling that just I don't know. It just tells me this is just going to be a long, hard last.
Yeah.
End of the season where it's just going to be a lot of disappointments. I think we're going to see some positives with certain things. I'm not saying there's not going to be any takeaways.
Yeah.
I think maybe offensively we'll see some. With the Mitch might grow a little bit. I don't think there's going to be.
I don't think anything. I think he's done growing height-wise. Oh, you mean his game? Never mind. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm an idiot.
he's going to hit football puberty, but I think I think we're going to see a lot of these where coulda, woulda, shouldas. Like it's been the whole season. I just don't know. I mean,
I hear you. It's the
shit.
same.
It's just
We're in
hard
football
to-
hell still, Billy.
Yes.
Are we out of hell into purgatory yet, or
I don't know.
No, we're
are
still
we working through purgatory into hell?
It's going to
or-
start all over next year. with a
out
new
of the
coach.
9 levels of hell. We're still sitting in about the 6th. So
Cool. Is that from that old video game?
no, it was from
What was that game called?
the book
Dungeon game. No, I don't know about that.
Books.
Dante's Inferno. With the whole.
We're not a book reading podcast.
Yeah, no, we don't do that shit. I watched The Stand once though, so I
read it.
imagine that's like that. You read The Stand?
Yeah.
Dude, let's have a podcast after this.
Back
one
in
about this.
back in high school, it was a long book to read.
Stephen King podcast coming up. Mike Rogers is gonna read The Stand. It's gonna be a series.
Do we have a few days? Nonstop.
All right, I got shit else to say about the Bears.
Yeah, I
except
don't either.
I'm excited to go tailgate in some cold ass weather, and I know that's gonna be the best part of the day, probably.
Yeah,
It's supposed to be sunny and shit tomorrow.
until the park department screws it up and makes us park.
Well, that story's worth telling. I think there was a big move out supposedly at McCormick, for the second fucking time Bears tailgate week in a row. So we're pulling into our normal spot, and Billy's talking and being totally respectful, just like he always is, unless people fuck with him. And we just give him our coupon that we paid for, park in the lot where we always park. And he's like, yeah, no, you got to turn around. It's like, they're just telling me you got to turn around. You just got to turn around. You just got to turn around. So Billy pulls up a little bit, and we're just all just like, fuck that, go. So we just fucking turn off to where we usually park, and turns out a few other people were doing that too. It turns out that was the right move, man. They just don't, the right hand's not talking to the left hand up there.
Yeah.
It's
The
ridiculous.
best part of the game they try and screw up, and that's the tailgate.
Yeah. But big shout out to Billy for fucking just
For
driving on
breaking
through
the
that
law.
shit. He's like, fuck you. What's funny is as soon as we turn the corner, see fucking red jackets just waving us on.
Yeah.
Like, really? The fucking booth guy can't talk to the people in the red jackets down here to fucking, it's idiots, man. Ugh, all right. Well,
All right, well, that's enough Bears.
I'm gonna talk Mike Rogers into one more beer and one more podcast after this. All right.
All right, goodbye.
Later.